Hello, film fans. Welcome to the Film vs. Film podcast. My name is Martin Harries, your host, and I'm joined by the film encyclopedia man, Boaz Dix. We are a couple of filmmakers on occasion, but mainly can't stop yapping about movies. On this podcast, every episode we pick a topic from a film that's coming out at the cinema or on VOD. Myself and Boaz pick our favourite film from that topic, or team up against a guest and battle it out to decide which film will become the greatest film of all time. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe. Please enjoy part 2. Right, our choice then is The Thing. Yes, it might be quite an obvious choice.
And you might call us cheating bastards.
Yeah. We have actually talked about this film already on the World of Horror podcast with Christina and Mac. That was a lot of fun. I chose it for that one because I was kind of afraid we would never have an opportunity to talk about it on this podcast. So I was very thankful for you guys to pick John Carpenter films. I mean, I was flirting with the idea of picking to do Snake Plissken.
Yes.
That didn't come out the way I wanted to say it. But and Escape from New York.
Call me Snake.
That's a great one. But I was just like, oh, what about The Thing, man? Yeah, that's so good. And then Boaz was like, oh, what about They Live?
Oh.
That's a great one. Kind of a little political one as well.
Yeah, we did that one. So good.
I loved your reel when you just got the sunglasses on, you guys. That was so cool.
That was our kickoff Carpenter pick. Was They Live. It's such a good movie. So much fun and so just crazy.
Yeah, but ultimately we went with The Thing mainly because I just can't resist this film. It's one of my favorite films like ever, probably.
Yeah.
Again, it's another one of those birthday party films I had as a kid. I just watched a really scary horror film and my dad didn't really care. Like, yeah, sure, it's fine.
The rest of the night you cannot trust one of your friends. You think one of your friends as soon as you turn around.
Well, this is like one of those visually terrifying looking films in so many ways because of the Rob Bottin effects. Like, I don't think I could watch this when I was a little kid, and I wasn't easily scared, but this would have grossed me right out.
I saw it when I was young. It was edited for television, but still, it's like, who cares? You lost some swear words, which, I did want, and when I got them, I was very happy. But, I saw the effects and I saw the story. This is a terrifying film because the difference here is in Assault in Precinct 13, the threat is on the outside, right, coming in. And then in The Thing, the threat is actually inside, coming out. Very, very creepy.
That's a very poetic way of putting it. I like that.
I would probably say this is John Carpenter's best film for me, maybe alongside Halloween as well, just in terms of how iconic Halloween is. I know that's your favorite film, Boaz, as well.
Is that a real favorite or like a joke favorite?
Yeah, it's a joke favorite. Okay. He's very disappointed. He's very disappointed in me because I think we did Halloween films and I just didn't like Halloween. I think I blew it up as being... It was going to be more awesome in my head. I think my expectations were like this because I was thinking it was going to be like The Thing and it was going to be like crazy violence or what have you. And it wasn't that. So,
I'm really sad that we didn't. We almost picked that, and that would have been really interesting to see you guys implode over that.
That would have been fun.
Well, yeah, but I haven't seen it a second time, and like now I know what it is. I don't know if I'd have a different opinion of Halloween.
Yeah, definitely bump up the directing from a 6.5. Christ,
6.5.
Yeah, that was pretty damn harsh, actually.
I'm calling you out on that.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah, I couldn't remember I was that harsh. So that was pretty good.
The Halloween when we did ours, we like. Halloween jumped up so high, and the more we learned, we were like, "Oh wow!" For me, my personal favorite, okay, is The Fog. Now, that's my favorite, but The Thing is his best film. So when I watch The Thing, it's like I'm like, "Well, do you like this better than The Fog?" I'm like, "I don't know." I change my mind every time I watch one of his movies, but with The Thing, he had the budget, he had the actors. I mean, this is bulletproof.
This is
the bulletproof movie.
This is his favorite of his own movies too.
Yeah.
So
he
loves this movie, and it's the one time he had all the resources that he needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I didn't watch this until much, much later in my life, but I had seen the clip with, the hands getting eaten off, and that terrified me for many years. I saw that on a clip show of movies, and I was like, what the hell is that? That really freaked me out. And then when I watched it, I'm like, oh my God, the practical effects in this are still incredible. They're just so good. They're timeless, And if they had tried to do it with the CGI at the time, it looked garbage, or any other method, but animatronics and puppetry, and you cannot touch it. It looks incredible.
I've thought about the idea of picking Prince of Darkness as well.
Ooh, I love that. Yes,
I do love that one as well. Just this kind of very like mystical thing going on, and you got like religion versus science kind of thing going on, and just this very like silent villain, if you will, of just this green ooze in the basement in the crypt of this church, and
that sounds creepy.
Like has so much power over of these people, and the end really freaks me out in that film. I won't give it away now, but I kind of think about that a lot.
Do you mean like this?
When that certain character goes into a different dimension.
Yeah, that's like a sleeper hit for me, because I first saw it and thought it was kind of trash, and then John is like, no, really, keep watching it. So we kept watching it, and the more I dug into it, the more I was like, wait, there's so much going on in that movie. When we did our episode, we did a dual episode on that within the Mouth of Madness, and I just felt like we were never going to be able to talk about all of the things that are going on in Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, I was like losing my mind. Like he really went so deep. Like so it's like the Apocalypse trilogy. The Thing starts that, right? And it's like The Thing. There's so much to talk about. I think we talked 2 hours. There's a lot more. Then it was like we came and we did the other two, thinking we'd just kind of pick up the spare, so to speak. Oh my God! Like that was it was such a journey.
We could have done like a 10-hour episode on Prince of Darkness, because there's like all this physics and just crazy science stuff, and it's a wild movie.
We got to see the locations too, because they're round, so it was fun to check that out.
Oh wow! Cool.
Yeah,
I want to live in America, man. I want to go there. It's not fair.
Look on Instagram; you can see it.
You can see the sets of Pride and Prejudice. Pride
and Prejudice is very good.
Yeah, it's good.
I went to a movie marathon in London, and one of the films they showed, it was like 80s films. One was Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah,
that's a fun movie. Yeah.
The inspiration for Mortal Kombat. How wild is that?
Yeah, Raiden, right? And like so many characters.
Yeah, like what?
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that movie, there's so much there. I mean, with all of his movies, he really brings something out.
Yeah, and Shang-Chi as well. Like, I'm really big into Mortal Kombat as well, so seeing characters where I'm like, holy shit, is that, the inspiration for this game? Yeah, that was good.
Well, and Kurt Russell is just doing a straight John Wayne impression in that movie.
Oh, speaking of that, okay, so in Rio Bravo, at the beginning of the film, our villain kills someone in a bar who's trying to prevent a villain from committing violence against Dean Martin. This good doer is Bing Russell, Kurt Russell's father, and he gets killed. Right in the beginning of Rio Bravo, and that's what sets the whole movie in motion in terms of the action.
We just noticed it was Bing Russell yesterday. It's just really funny.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, again, it's just like Hawks. Carpenter is on it. You know what I mean?
He's just like, let me go get the son of this guy that got shot at the beginning of Rio Bravo.
Then it's like the Thing from Another World, and that's, it's like we got that, and then we've got Who Goes There. That John W. Campbell Jr. story. So it's like he draws from the best sources. Oh, and Lovecraft. How could I forget that?
Oh yeah,
that's very Lovecraftian, creature-y stuff.
And also, we kind of picked this as well because there is a slight connection to the best film of last year, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay.
Oh, that was a great.
Do you know what it is?
No, tell me.
Do you know what the connection is?
Kurt Russell.
Hot dog fingers.
Oh.
Benning's hot dog fingers. More char-grilled, wrinkly ones. But sure, it's a slight connection there.
Oh, hot dog fingers. Okay, yeah, shit. Okay, I get you. Yeah, except those hot dogs, they're like overdone, overcooked. Like they look.
Yeah, very overcooked.
I wouldn't want to eat them. Jeez. No. Yeah, I was going to say, a fact about Kurt Russell, and then we'll get onto the actual review. Otherwise, we're going to be here for way too long. Do you know what Walt Disney's last words were?
Kurt Russell.
It was Kurt Russell, yeah.
What?
He said Kurt Russell's name.
Yeah, that was it.
What the hell is that about?
That's insane.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Well, he did a load of Disney films, didn't he, before
Yeah.
Escape from New York?
But I just have this theory. What if Kurt Russell is his, like, illegitimate child or something like that?
Or what if Kurt Russell killed him, maybe?
Maybe! Yeah. He's like, Kurt poisoned me. Kurt Russell, why?
Maybe there was like a joke
he
didn't get to finish. Like he was going to say Kurt Russell and call me Snake.
Oh, I think that would be funny. Yeah. Or Kurt Russell is the thing, and then he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. We should have done Escape from New York. We could have said that the whole time.
Oh,
my
God.
God.
I'm glad we didn't. I don't need to hear it again.
Call me Snake.
We're good.
All right, let's get on with the review.
Yeah.
Forgot why we're here now.
Yeah.
This happens every time we get together.
Yeah. Boaz, what happens in John Carpenter's The Thing?
Hey, I'm James Lovino, and I'm here to tell you about Alternate Sides, a movie podcast with a twist. I've worked in the film business for 2 decades, but I haven't actually seen that many movies, and this has been driving my frequent collaborator, Sam, a self-confessed film snob, crazy. So every week, while he's stuck in his car trying to avoid getting a parking ticket, thanks to New York City's alternate side parking regulations, we discuss a classic film I've finally just gotten around to seeing. Alternate Sides, a new podcast about movies, parking, and a 25-year friendship, wherever you get your podcasts.
So The Thing is set in Antarctica in an American research station. A Norwegian team from a Norwegian research station seem to have gone crazy, and they're flying a helicopter and are shooting at a dog, and they chase it to the American station. One of the guys dies, and the helicopter explodes, like trying to shoot the dog and trying to blow it up with grenades. And they get involved in a shootout with the Americans trying to shoot the dog, and that Norwegian is shot. The Americans are very confused onto what the hell's going on, so they go check the Norwegian station and find a coffin taken from the ice. Meanwhile, the dog is actually a creature. It's an alien creature that was discovered by the Norwegian team that has been hibernating in the Antarctic for 100,000 years before it was thawed out. And it starts systematically eating, members of the American team and absorbing them and becoming exactly like them because it can imitate organisms perfectly. It's like a perfect imitation. And the whole film is basically this very claustrophobic, paranoid thing of nobody knows who to trust or who's human. And it's about finding out which one of them are, the alien, and like making sure they don't escape the research station.
So, directing then for The Thing, I really like the Palmer tease, is what I kind of like to call it, where, like, near the beginning of the film, I love how the film sneaks in this very quiet scene where the dog just casually walks into someone's room and you see the silhouette of someone's head, but you can't really tell who it is. And it doesn't really connect to anything. But on rewatches, you're like, yes, of course, it was Palmer in the blood test scene.
I think what's great is the rewatchability of this film.
Yeah.
Like, you can watch it a bunch of times and pick out who gets turned where, you know?
Yeah, but because this scene was way at the start, you didn't know the dog was a thing. You completely forget about it. You know, it's there in plain sight, very sneaky. Also, the atmosphere building is great too in general from John Carpenter. There's a combination of like nice floaty cameras of an empty room, then another shot of an empty room, and then the dog quietly just walks into the hallway, and it's just great simple stuff from John Carpenter, along with all the craziness that's going on here as well, with the directing from Carpenter. He does the simple things so well, I think.
Definitely, he does. I mean, and we've talked about it again before, with like the cleanliness of his shoots and edits and the shots that he gets. It just tells you exactly what you need to be looking at and what you need to know, and it's just very effective. I feel like there's not a whole lot of extra fat on anything, and it's not necessarily like super artistic. It's more like functional, and I think that is actually a good thing here, because he does have kind of a realistic, minimalistic kind of style that just works.
Well, he keeps this economy even though he has the budget and he has the actors and he has the script. So it's like an hour and 48 minutes. This is a longer film for him than we generally see. In terms of his directing, he is able to give us his precise vision this time without any compromises. And, you know, he has, you know, the thing from another world, which actually we get a tease with because it's on television, I believe, in Halloween. I think that's what's on TV.
It is.
It is, yeah.
And so it's like, you know, that this is something that's in his head. And so it's like he's had this film with him for a long time. As we know, huge admirer of Howard Hawks. We have this short story. We put it all together. So this is something that I feel like he's been thinking of since he was a kid. And because of that, it is precious. It's a story that you've built on forever. So when he finally had the chance to go forward, I mean, it was unstoppable. And no one could have ever predicted Rob Bottin. You know, Rob Bottin's work in The Fog, you know, I mean, The Fog, I mean, completely different film, but, you know, The Fog was shot and then they screened The Fog and Carpenter was like, look, this just isn't that good. We got to do it all again. And they did. And they added in a lot more of the horror elements and more of this Rob Bottin work. I mean, actually, maybe all of it was in the reshoots with him. I can't remember. But the point is, you know, Rob Bottin, you know, is who brought, you know, these kind of zombie sailors to life in The Fog. I believe he actually might even play
the main one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did cool stuff
really?
with like reflective paint, with reflective tape and things like that. But then, and he's really young at this point.
Yes,
like, I think he was just like around 20. And the thing is like a really huge responsibility to hand over to like this kid. And his vision was so intense, and like he just wanted to do so many things that it was kind of like he almost bit off more than he could chew.
Yeah.
But it's like artistic, almost, the grotesquerie that he comes up with. These creatures, like the models that he made, like the kind of splitting head thing, and the dog, I think, was Stan Winston. But like all of that stuff is just really what makes this movie to me.
Yeah, he slept in the studio.
Yeah.
He didn't leave. Like,
Really?
yeah, he was there all the time. Rob Bottin actually had to like check out for a while to recharge because he just had used so much of himself.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I heard about that. Like, he was so exhausted that he was basically bedridden after the whole experience for quite a while. You know, had to have that time to. Yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah, he really did push himself hard.
Yeah, I loved all the monster designs. Yeah, I mean, at the beginning in the dog pen, I loved how it's constantly evolving.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it feels like a combination of like animal life that we recognize, like spider legs and a flower opening up. Very grotesque flower.
Yeah, meat flower.
Then it becomes like a pissed off cabbage with giant eyes. But I like how Carpenter just doesn't rely on the special effects to scare you in that scene. Just before Childs burns it, something opens up like it's going to attack Childs, but then Carpenter throws in like a fast push in on Childs right before he pulls the trigger. So it's almost like a jump scare within like a push in, so I really like that from Carpenter, not just relying on the special effects. And there's an amazing design with a head upside down, with spider's legs, with an eye antenna, and I love that shot where the head just walks past them over the shoulder of Kurt Russell.
I love that.
That's the best part of the movie.
Just like, excuse me, coming through, nothing to see here. and then they all turn around slowly, which was funny.
Yeah, well, Palmer has like possibly the best line where he goes, "You got to be fucking kidding."
And burns it.
Palmer is such a good character in so many incredible lines.
Yeah.
And he's perfect because he causes so much trouble. And that's what I love about him.
And then he is
so
the
good.
trouble there.
Yes.
Yeah, he is the thing. And I think that's why I get such a kick out of rewatching it. And because, towards the end, you realize Palmer is one of the creatures. But he had so many interactions with them as a creature. So you're like, Jesus Christ, this thing is advanced. It's like making them doubt each other. It's cracking jokes as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's this fully fledged character, but it and you think, oh, it's Palmer, but it turns out to be a fucking, extraterrestrial,
I do like the last monster design at the end, where if you look closely, you can see a little tuft of hair on his head, which I thought was quite fun.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was horrifying. It was like a human head with like an animal face sticking out the side and like, stuff coming out the stuff. It was, man, that they went all out with that.
Well, if you think about it with Palmer was stoned the whole movie. So like the thing was stoned. You know what I mean? Like he jumped in.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
You're like, holy shit. You know what I mean? So he was just kind of high for a while and figuring things out. Yeah. So that's something to think about next time.
That's maybe why he didn't finish the fingers on Bennings, maybe. Too high.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, that Bennings shot. I mean, I feel so bad for him. Like, you just feel so bad for him outside. Yeah, because he has those crazy arm hands things, and you're like, what is going on? And his eyes are dilated.
He's terrified, like he knows what's happening to him.
Absolutely. But I always even love, like, the scene before that where that one guy catches him being assimilated, and you see like the clothes on the chair, and I just like the slow sort of examination of the room of like the clothes are torn and there's blood everywhere, and there's slime, and then you see him in the corner just being enveloped.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah, that was horrible. And then cut back to the guy, and he's just like, what the fuck? And he runs out to tell them, and then comes back and he's gone.
But I think one of the most terrifying things in this film is Kurt Russell's hat. What the hell is he wearing on his head?
That Yosemite Sam hat. Yeah,
it's good.
It's horrendous.
It's a good hat.
It seems like he gets confused with his country sometimes, because he gets corrected that the people shooting at the dog were Norwegian, not Swedish.
Yeah, crazy Swedes.
Maybe he thinks it's really cold in Mexico. I'm not sure.
Well, he's in the bag. Like, we established that McCready is drunk as fuck. I mean, that is our introduction. Like, he is just drinking and playing, chess. And that's interesting, because Adrienne Barbeau is the chess computer.
She's the voice,
yeah.
Oh, right.
But and then he destroys the computer, and
why would you do that?
I just was thinking about that the whole time, because then
because he's a dick.
He's like no brain.
But I mean, like, you're stuck here, bro. Like, nobody's gonna bring you a new computer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, now he's got no entertainment. Yeah,
that was an impulsive, poor decision.
In fact, he's lucky. He's lucky there was an alien invasion. Otherwise, he'd have been so bored.
And they can't contact anyone. We established that with Windows later.
Mac and Windows, by the way.
Mac and Windows,
remember that. Yeah.
Shit, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
But, I was just like, that's a poor, impulsive decision you just made. And it's the first of winter, right? He says.
Yeah, he comes out. Isn't that one of his lines? First goddamn day of winter.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you've got a quarter of the year to like get through the shit in.
But I think like with Assault on Precinct 13, we were saying like there's great atmosphere building and the slow build up, and I think he certainly took a lot of that and put it into this film as well. I love the atmosphere building from John Carpenter when Mac and Copper find the Norwegian research base. Like, first of all, like the production design is fantastic for me. There's a lot of like massive icicles and random holes in the walls. They find a bloody axe on the wall. A guy has killed himself with a straight razor.
Yeah, that was cool.
Then they find a block of ice and something has been carved out of it. And the scene asks so many questions of what happened here. Your brain can't quite add up at all what the hell happened.
And I also actually like when they find the creature's body in the Norwegian, so the second creature.
Oh yeah,
where the camera doesn't show it like directly. You're sort of like getting vibes of what it looks like, but from low down upwards. So you're just seeing little bits of it, but not the whole thing. And you're seeing them react to it of like, what the fuck is that? And you can't get a good look at it.
That's actually my favorite shot, to be fair, because you're not seeing too much. You're not seeing enough.
Yeah, you can see it's weird. Whatever it is, it's weird, but you can't see the full thing. And I do like that shot because it's like, come on, show me it. But I'm glad they didn't show you it then.
It's like, no, hang on, people.
Wait a minute. Wait till they all see it.
Yeah, the whole thing at the Norwegian base is really reminiscent of the Star Trek, the original series episode, The Naked Time.
Oh, okay.
If anybody knows that. That's the one where they go to this base and they're like, what happened here? And they're wearing these like idiotic looking hazmat suits. And some guy, like some kind of stuff, like jumps onto his hand, and then it ends up like infecting the crew. And Sulu goes around like swashbuckling all the time because apparently this disease makes him do that. But like they're kind of trying to reconstruct what happened based on like what's left there, and it's very similar to this Norwegian base where they're just finding the aftermath of whatever went on, because we have to imagine like what happened at the Norwegian base is what ends up happening there. Like, not only do you have this thing, but you also have people turning on each other because they're paranoid and they don't know who's who and what's what, and who's the real enemy. Like, is it the thing or is it these people like turning on each other?
So it's like when you go to the base, the thing that's interesting there is we have a bunch of connections. So we get really, I would say, our first, reference to the thing from another world. So the Hawks film with that cooler, right? That the creature was in. You're like, oh, okay. And then we also go through just the wreckage of this place. And with the axe on the wall, and the axe is a big part in this, it'll make you think about The Shining because we're out here in the frozen cold.
Yeah.
So it's like we're seeing just like this wreckage, of what has been. So
then Blair puts an axe through that table.
Oh my God.
That McCready is like, coming at him with.
Childs puts an axe through a door. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good axe play in this, but it's crazy, like how we have that scene that sets up, so much. And get this, what I also think about, and this is a flash forward in time, is I think about Prometheus when they are on the planet and they discover the architect in that crazy room and everything. I don't know. There's something about that makes me think about that kind of architecture, just that dark look.
It's making you think like it's a murder scene, some type of murder event has happened, but there's enough like of an odd quality to this. It's like, well, this just doesn't make sense. Like, why are there so many holes in the walls? Why is the axe on the door?
Yeah.
He's killed himself. Yeah, that's kind of maybe understandable, but...
And you're trying to put it together with what happened at the beginning, which was this dog, right? So, or this wolf creature running away from a guy shooting at it in a helicopter, trying to blow it up with grenades.
Yeah.
Like, how does that fit in with like this base? I mean, I guess like my thought would just be that all these people like lost their minds. They had some kind of a infectious disease or something.
Yeah. Like it's like a gas or something. Yeah. What was it? Have you heard about because obviously the Norwegian guy that's chasing the dog, he's speaking Norwegian, And if you spoke Norwegian, you immediately know the plot of the film because he says in Norwegian something like, "Get the hell away from that, you idiots! It's not a dog, it's a creature or something."
Yep.
Yeah, I just thought that's like a really cool little Easter egg if you spoke Norwegian and you're with an Englishman and you both didn't know anything about the film.
Well, I have to say the Norwegian's a terrible shot.
yeah.
He could have saved everyone.
Yeah, he shot one of the guys in the leg. It's like, for the love of God, man.
Yeah, like, are you kidding me, man?
Also, when he throws the grenade out of the helicopter, I'm like, that's a really bad throw.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, I think if I have a negative of very, 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 very few negatives, like when he tries to throw the grenade on the ground,
It's awful.
it slips out his hand and blows his own helicopter up. I mean, come on.
My God.
Yeah.
I mean, that shooting's terrible. I'm not a good shot, but Christ almighty, like, this guy's horrible. Like, it's like right next to the dog. It's right next to the dog. And how long have they been chasing it? It's a long helicopter ride from the base, guys.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, if that guy was a better shot, he could have averted the apocalypse, but here we are.
Could have done.
They should just crash the helicopter into the dog. Maybe they would have a better shot.
Yeah, he should have done. Give his life for the good of mankind.
Yeah, I mean, the Norwegian version of this film would have been very short.
And I love how through most of the film you're following it from McCready's eyes. So, it's his film. He's the main character, and you're seeing things as he's seeing them. So at least he's not a creature. But I love that one scene where you doubt it because he's been gone with the other guy for ages, and then only the other guy comes back, and you stop seeing things from McCready's point of view, and you're seeing it from their point of view. So it's making you sympathize with them as well as McCready. You're like, they're in the same position. And you can doubt at that. You start to doubt at that moment as well. I like that because then, McCready's the main character, but from this scene, he's not the main character anymore. So you can doubt just like they're doubting.
Yeah.
And I quite like that scene where it does that. It does that old switcheroo. And McCready is almost like the creature, because he's like banging on the door. He's trying to get in. They're wondering what they should do with him. Should they kill him? Should they tie him up or whatever? So yeah, I really like that scene.
It's great.
Georgia, favorite shot or scene?
Oh my God, this is so impossible, this movie.
Yeah, so much.
But I think I really have to go with like the Norris transformation.
Yeah, that was great.
Which is, the guy's on the table and then his head kind of melts off and
melts down. Yeah.
And then it like that thing shoots out and then drags itself over.
Yeah.
It's like it takes itself out of the way to do the next transformation into like the spider crab or whatever that's supposed to be.
Yeah, and don't forget like his like other head that comes out of his stomach.
Yes,
oh my God.
yeah.
It's like going around. Like that transformation has so many levels to it where you're like stomach, teeth, green guts spilling on the roof. You're like, oh, this can't get crazier. Like an extra head comes out of his stomach. This can't get crazy. His head melts off, and then his tongue is, and then he's got spider legs. You're like, Jesus Christ, there's so much.
It's batshit crazy.
Yeah, batshit insane. It builds up on itself when you don't think it'll stop.
And then of course, like it ends with, you gotta be fucking kidding, and like that's such a perfect kind of denouement to the scene because it's ratcheted the tension up so high, and I've never seen anything like that before or since in a movie that just is so unbelievable.
I just like the fact that the head is the wrong way around.
yeah, I like that as well. Yeah,
like gotta have some eyes here. Wrong way up.
Well, because it's like it's figuring out how it works. Like that's what is so interesting about this weird creature. Is like it's smart, but it's also confused. It's like it doesn't know what it's doing and has to like work its way into it, and it makes me wonder like what the properties of this creature are. Like, is it when it's in a primitive stage? Is it mentally primitive, or does it?
Yeah. So, because this is the thing that had always bothered me about the film, but I was actually, I went to see a forum to sort of get, answers for it. Because my thing is like, why did it reveal itself as Norris? Do you know what I mean? Like, you think that'd be the worst idea to do. But somebody was saying a theory that he reckons it started, like, it didn't turn into Norris before, but it was turning into Norris.
Oh.
So that's why he collapsed. It's like it already infected him and was changing him throughout the film. And it's only when he collapsed, like, so he's out cold during the transformation or the assimilation, and that then when they put him unconscious on the hospital bed, he thinks he's being attacked. Like, the creature has no clue what's going on, and so it's in that primitive stage of, you know, it doesn't know that they're trying to, like, get its heart started again. So it just thinks they're trying to attack him. So that's where it kind of reveals, you know, it gets rid of the jig.
It's seizing its opportunity.
Yeah, I was like, well, it's not really an opportunity, because, like, the best opportunity would be to stay hidden.
Well, to assimilate someone else.
Yeah, but they've all got flamethrowers, you know. I don't think it's a rational thought that it was doing. I think this is how MacReady comes up with the idea that if it thinks it's being attacked, like, you know, its blood cells, it'll retaliate. Like, it doesn't think logically when it thinks it's being attacked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like on a cellular level, there is some sort of consciousness. I mean, that's what he says, like, our blood is just tissue, but this will fight back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it can't help itself but fight back. So even though, like, the best thing would be to stay hidden, and most of the time it does, if it thinks it's being attacked, then it'll give the game away.
So, like, what I also like is in the scene, it's like these two scenes are back to back that we're talking about. So, you know, Knowles is out there. He's like, yeah, I cut MacReady loose. And then, you know, we see MacReady, and he has the flamethrower and the dynamite, and he's ready to kill everyone. And so we have Norris, you know, tackle him. And we also have Knowles, you know, try to tackle him as well.
Yeah.
And then, like, after, you know, they've charged him, you know, Knowles is like, yeah, relax. And then Palmer is like, yeah, just relax, man. Palmer is just such a, like, it's man, just relax. But yeah, it's you get the idea. I mean, Palmer is just so damn good in this.
Yeah, I actually like really early in the film where they start mentioning aliens, like that it's a creature. You know, they've got it on the table, and it's like, well, it's an alien, man, and Child is not having any of that shit.
No.
Like, do you believe this shit?
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear it.
And I love how Palmer's is like Chariot of the Gods. You know, haven't you read that book? You know, the aliens in the Maya, you know, in South America and stuff. You know, and he's just spouting off bullshit.
The Incas owned the South America.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Then he just takes another hit off his pipe. Yeah.
And I just thought that was funny because they're looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The thing's like, yeah, that's a funny thing to say. Let's say that.
Well, it's one of those things, when it assimilates Palmer's, it doesn't have to try too hard because he sounds stupid regardless. So he might not actually know what's going on as a thing, but he sounds like an idiot, so he sounds like Palmer. So.
But in that scene, Palmer is smoking grass. So the thing is like going right for the stuff. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Actually, talking about Palmer, when Palmer transforms, I love the setup to that because, you know, his suspicion is on
Gary.
Yeah, Gary. His suspicion is on Gary. It's like, Gary, we're going to test you next. And and then suddenly, you know, that thing happens, and then suddenly, you know, Palmer starts shaking. And what was it? I love that where he's shaking, and then the camera goes to him, like goes to them. They're freaking out, and it goes to him, and like blood is pouring out of his eyes, and his face is like mushed. Jesus Christ! And then all hell breaks loose, like just you know, opens up and all this kind of shit.
Yeah, I would say, like, certainly from an alien design point of view, that's probably my least favorite bit. As from a design point of view, still great, but
yeah, it still looks good. Yeah.
They kind of rely on the human shape so they can set him completely alight and run out. But that's very much a practical thing.
Yeah,
I get that. The whole, like, his head opening up and snapping windows, that was great.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Maybe because it's been in Palmer for the longest time, it's the most assimilated into Palmer or something. And they felt like they could logic it out that way.
John, favorite shot or scene?
God, I have to say that the blood test scene. I mean, it's so suspenseful, you know. And then it ends with that incredible line from Gary.
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was great.
So I know you gentlemen have been through a lot, but when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of the winter tied to this fucking couch.
And it's so good. Did you know that actor is English, by the way, gentlemen?
Oh, really? No.
No.
Yes.
No, I didn't know.
Yes.
I also really liked like later in the film how the inventive way that they get Gary to die, where the Blair thing,
Yeah.
like basically
The skin sock.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, where he kind of like pushes his hand
Oh God.
all the way through his skin.
Oh God, yeah.
It's so horrible, and there's like suffocating him inside his mouth. You're like, Jesus Christ.
That is really well done, I thought. So well done.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the way Blair like drags him like a skin sock, that was funny and disgusting.
Blair.
I love Blair.
Same.
Directing score, comfort films. What are you going for The Thing?
We went. I don't know. Maybe we were low. Should we up this?
I the more we talk, the more I'm like, well.
All right. I'm at least gonna pop that up 0.2. So we're gonna give it a 9.5.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's exactly what I was thinking, actually.
I really think, this is the best directing John Carpenter did, we think.
Absolutely.
Again, he had the opportunity and the resources that he never had before and really never had again because, unfortunately, for some reason, this flopped.
That's insane.
I blame everyone who was alive at this time.
I think I blame E.T. because I think I'd heard a lot of reviewers were like, this isn't like E.T. That their view of an alien as being a friendly visitor was shaped by all these very positive alien movies at the time.
Yeah,
and I think it really kind of threw people for a loop.
Also, fun fact as well. Ennio Morricone got nominated for a Razzie for this film, which is insane.
That is insane. That is crazy.
It's ludicrous.
That's so weird.
Certainly in that build-up scene, when they go to the Norwegian base, like Ennicio's music comes into its own in that. It's so good in that moment.
Yeah, anyone who was an adult and able to see this film at the time and didn't think it was great is mental. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah, they need their head examined. Or they were all secretly, I think they were all secretly creatures and they don't want to give it credit because it'll give the game away, it'll out them,
Yeah, it's offensive to their people.
Real aliens wouldn't do this, wink wink.
What should we go with then, Boaz, for directing?
I would go a 9.5 as well, actually. That was exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. Sure. I think it's just, certainly this film is just such a great advocate for practical effects.
Absolutely.
You could argue and say that certainly in this era, like the very gooey texture to it, there are similar films of this ilk. Like one that comes to our mind is The Fly. Has a similar texture to those effects. And also, certainly with the movement of these effects, these creatures, they are a tad limited at times. Like at the end, like that massive thing, it does seem a little limited. And
I would kind of agree with that. It looks amazing, but he kills it immediately.
But what I'm trying to say is that it's so visually pleasing. That's the wrong word. Visually spectacular that you don't necessarily need to have that much movement and shock value in movement, whereas you kind of modern audiences of a younger generation of just like, well, it's just standing still. It's easy to destroy it.
Yeah, I do agree. It's more the spectacle than the choreography of it.
But it's still great. I don't think you need any of that though. It's still great as it is without
absolutely
masses of movement, which people expect now. With the camera has to like spin around and do crazy stunts with films like this now if they come out today, if you know what I mean. So I just really appreciate the practical effects in this film, that they're so impressive and they look tangible, they look real. There's no doubt in your mind when you're watching it for the first time that these things can kill these guys. They look real.
And and I just love like how it's done. It builds a suspense. It's very eerie at times, and it does convey that sense of paranoia.
Screenplay then. I think going into this, if you're not necessarily a big horror fan and you see the amount of characters that are in this, which are a lot, normally you would sigh and say, oh God, there's too many characters. There's no way this is going to work. You're not going to be able to fully develop all these characters. But
yeah, like tell them apart or something.
Yeah. But because there's so many characters in this, it works in this film's favor because the sense of paranoia between these characters is so strong. You're constantly thinking while you're watching, is the thing Knowles? Is it Gary? Is it Blair? Well, of course it's Blair, but no one trusts each other. Yet they're trying to work together. So the script is so clever in finding a different way of making a horror film work with a large cast. Plus, before the horror gets going, none of them really like each other anyway. There's definitely this cabin fever atmosphere for sure going in.
I like a couple of early scenes where you kind of get that where one of them, he's playing music really loud throughout the night.
Yeah, Knowles. Yeah.
And Gary is like, could you turn that shit off? Like, I'm trying to sleep. And he doesn't turn it off. Like, you know, he just keeps it going. Like, so they are stepping on each other's toes, and it's already, you know, they're already annoying each other. And then you add to that one of them or several of them might be aliens, you know.
Well, we counted it out. I think there's 12 people in there. So it's kind of like a 12 Angry Men kind of a situation where you have these 12 people isolated in this one location by themselves, and they really dislike each other in some ways. Like, they definitely have like their little groups that, you know, get along or don't get along. And some of the people who are annoying because they're in this isolated situation, they become much more annoying. I'm thinking about Windows in particular. He annoys me. Like, if I was there and I had to deal with this person, like, your one job is to like find people on the radio, and you just complain every time somebody asks you to do that. Like, okay,
that's your job, man.
It's like you got to wonder, like, how did you get this job? Like, I don't think any of these people are anyone that anyone wants to work with. Like, you know, McCready, you know, is a pilot. But I mean, he gets that pissed off at a computer. Like, I wouldn't want him flying me anywhere. Gary is just way too, like, jacked up.
Well, that's what Palmer says. Like, El Capitan's been waiting for a chance to use his pop gun.
Yes.
At the beginning. Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, I think about that too. Like, it's no fun being isolated with anyone.
Clark, horrible.
But these are co-workers who have to be isolated.
Yeah, and also, like, Childs and McCready, you do get this feeling that they just fucking hate each other.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely hate each other.
I'm not sure who pissed in whose cereal first or whatever before this, but they really fucking hate each other. And I just keep thinking that they're going to they just want an excuse to get rid of one another. That's why I think it's great that they're the last two that, you know, that talk at the end.
Yeah, because they didn't trust each other from the beginning. They're ready to snap on each other all the way through.
I think my favorite theory, you know, you've probably heard this one, is that Childs is a creature at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I actually really like that theory. And there are breadcrumbs to it because, you know, Childs is wearing a completely different coat than he is earlier in the film. And, you know, McCready says it tears clothes. And he goes wandering off, like, before the end. And then he comes up with some cock-a-bull story that he thought he saw Blair or something. But then I think it's great because the end, where they just don't care, that's the best conversation they've had with each other, and they're so chill and they're sharing a drink, and I just think it's the ultimate irony. Like, the only time they get along, one of them's a fucking alien.
Yeah, I think this film has one of the great horror endings, mainly because it can't really end any other way. You know, that would be satisfying. You know, McCready and Charles are just the last ones left, and you know they're all going to die like 10 minutes ago. They kind of suspect each other a bit, but then McCready says, why don't we just wait here for a little while, see what happens? And like, all the possible outcomes could happen. And I love the fact that you don't know what happens. Plus, there's not enough story left for a sequel anyway. So there's no need for one.
Yeah. I think it wraps itself up, like, regardless of if one of them is a creature or not, or if they're both human, because it's like, regardless, they share a drink and they get frozen, you know, like the film ends, you still have the same conclusion.
Unless they immolate themselves, the world will end either now or later, because I feel like you have options, which are, like I said, they burn themselves up, then maybe it's over. If they freeze to death, it's just incubating until they're discovered, and then it's going to happen again. And if they are rescued, then it's just going to continue to explode into other populations. So
yeah, that's true. You can have a few alternate endings.
I saw an interesting piece from John Carpenter that he said in an interview once, I think, that it's obvious that it's Charles, that he's the thing, because he's lit in such a way that you can't see him breathing, and you can see MacReady breathing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the thing likes to get fucked up now. I mean, because let's talk about it. He's smoking grass. Now he's got this booze on. He thinks this is just a great time.
Yeah, this is how humans communicate.
Yeah, he's like, oh.
If I kill one of them... If I kill one of them, they give me weed. If I kill another one of them, they give me booze.
It's great.
This is a great... I love this culture.
I think that we should have a sequel. It would be very brief. It would be 20 years later, and they're just frozen in place.
Stoner comedy.
Yeah, just frozen, and then that's it. Then we get the score again. Yeah, that's the thing too.
We've talked about the scene a little bit, but there's another angle I quite like to just mention. But I love how the film builds the sense of paranoia. And when we learn that the thing can imitate any of them, they all start to look at each other differently. And when Fuchs goes missing, MacReady and Niles go outside and they find him, but just find his burnt body. Then they see that MacReady's light is on in his shack, so MacReady and Niles go take out Fuchs's imitation. But when Niles finds a torn shirt of MacReady, he cuts himself loose because of the blizzard. Then all the others start suspecting MacReady is the thing. But MacReady has a bomb that could take everyone out. But then Norris stops breathing all of a sudden, so the doctor starts CPR and uses the paddles. But while all that's happening, all the tension is with MacReady. Is he the thing? Then one of them quietly grabs the scalpel. So all the attention is with MacReady, and the others watching him closely. Then all of a sudden, Norris's chest opens up and bites the doctor's hands off.
Yeah.
But I just love the fact that there's been so much plot development for this one misdirect to create this brilliant scare in the writing.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate that. You're just creating this huge situation that, oh my God, it could be MacReady. Boom, Copper gets his arms taken out.
Yeah.
And you're just not expecting that at all. It's just a great misdirect by Carpenter with his pen. But with the blood test scene as well, again, that's a misdirect as well, but that's done with dialogue, when MacReady is testing each of the blood samples. It's all very slow and tense.
Yeah. And he 100% believes it's Gary. Everybody believes it's Gary.
Because obviously in that scene, you're not going to have the first couple be the thing. That would be silly. But then when MacReady says it's Palmer's turn next, Gary says, this is pure nonsense, doesn't prove a thing. And MacReady then says, I thought you feel that way, Gary. You were the only one that could have got to that blood. Well, do you last? So now all your attention is on Gary and MacReady snapping at each other and not on the blood test. And that's why it's so shocking when Palmer's blood goes nuts. So there's a lot of great misdirections with the writing here. I really love it.
And also with the direction, too, because they show you that shadowy shot of Windows, and he looks very scary. You're like, ooh, it could be Windows. And then they do the same thing with Palmer, who it ends up being. You're like, holy shit. So, they really want to throw you off. And you also feel like it's Clark. I really thought Clark was going to be it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And, and especially because he goes to check on because they're like, Blair's killed all the dogs. So he disappears for quite some time to look out to the dead dogs. So you think, at any point then he could have changed. And also the fact that, he's getting a scalpel ready to, and, is trying to find the correct opening. And they're always building to that. He's got in his hands trying to find the correct opening to strike at MacReady. So you're suspicious. And I do like when that culminates in, he actually takes a swing at MacReady, tries to kill him. And MacReady just shoots him dead.
Yeah.
But still tests his fucking body, because he could be faking it. And then I like that line from Charles where I was like, well, I guess he was human, so that makes you a murderer.
Yeah, just adds to their tension between those characters.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, if I were put in this situation, After, I'm serious. I think I said this last time.
You're basically Blair in this film.
Yeah. No, I'm worse than Blair. Blair just kind of kept them there. I'd have killed the whole lot of them. I'm not fucking around. I'm not investigating or as far as I'm concerned, it's me against them. I'm torching them all. And then it's the end of the film.
That's why I love Blair too. I'm Blair too here because, Blair does that computer model, right? Where he sees that, it's this however many hours before the entire world is infected.
Yeah.
And Blair is like, well, that's some shit. And is like, well, I'm going to have to think this out. But then he really goes to destroy everything so that they can't escape and that they can't get out.
Yeah. Fucks up the helicopter, kills the dogs,
He's being brave. He's trying to be the last, he's the last person between this escaping and not escaping, and they end up locking him up, and then he turns. But
I love that scene.
Yeah, when he's like, I'm okay, I can go back.
There's like a noose swinging.
Hell no, you're staying in there, man.
I actually think McCready should have set him alight right there. Those are so obviously eerie, creepy vibes of I'm all better now. I want to go back in. I'm all better.
But it's not like Blair at all, really, because Blair was just fired up.
It's just a minute ago you were like, we're all gonna die, and you're smashing up everything, and now you're just doing a 180. That doesn't make any sense.
That's basically the thing saying, I fully completed this guy. I can come out now. It's fine.
Yeah. But I do love that scene because McCready, you can see the gears going in his head. Is it so smart that it can, it can try to convince me?
Yeah.
And I like it as it just closes the door and he's still like, wait, no, let me out. It's really creepy.
It gives me some good nervous laughter. I mean, it isn't until this second when we were talking about it, I thought about it. The noose that's swinging in the background, it makes me laugh. But get this, Blair knew he was turning and was just going to do himself.
Yeah.
He was going to hang himself.
Because that's Blair. I mean, that's Blair. That's what he would do because he, is going to take action to prevent this.
He's logical.
For the greater good, yeah.
The greater good.
He's a biologist.
The greater good.
For the greater good.
The greater good.
For the greater good.
He's a biologist. The greater good. He's a biologist and he understands infectious disease, right? So it's he acknowledges that they have basically a plague and the plague needs to be ended. And that's what he's trying to do.
And the thing is left booze again. McCready leaves him the vodka or the gin or whatever on the table. The thing likes to get fucked up. Every time. It's oh, yeah.
This tastes good.
He's just, if only he had an AA meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why he was on ice for so long. He's these dinosaurs they don't have booze. They got no drugs. They suck. They're going to hibernate for a couple million years.
Well, and Palmer had a huge stash and they built that, they burnt that whole building, right? And Childs comes out. No wonder he's so fucking mellow. He's oh, hey, I said a change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got a drink? All right.
I like this guy.
Well, it's not so bad being assimilated.
Favorite lines, people? What we got?
Oh man, we've probably done. I think you got to be fucking kidding.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Is the one for me. Just the delivery of it and the presence of it in that particular spot.
Yeah, it's mine. Yeah. I like one from Clark near the start where he says, I don't know what the hell is in there, but it's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was good, yeah.
Windows, you and Palmer, tie everybody down real tight. What for? For your health.
I mean, I said this earlier, but again, it's just another Palmer line. It's, man, just relax.
It's the delivery of it. Well, it's his face.
Oh,
he says that. He's like, yeah, man.
It's so unconvincing. It's so unsold. That's what I love.
the thing is like, yeah, this is what we should say. Yeah, calm everyone down.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's even better. It is the thing. The thing's like trying to like fit in.
He's like
a cool kid.
Just calm down. Everybody turn around. Close your eyes.
Everybody cool down. Cool out.
Yeah.
Cool. Be cool.
Well, and then by the
Have a drink. It tastes real good.
and it hasn't made it any better when Blair is like, I'm okay now. Like, he's very unconvincing.
I feel much better now.
Yeah,
Let me
man,
in.
everyone relax. Yeah.
So good. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I think my favorite line is at the end, near the end, where the creature, it appears and it roars, and then Creedy is like, well, fuck you too. And then blows it up.
That's good.
Comfort films, John and Georgia, what is your score for screenplay for The Thing?
We gave this a 9. Again, I had a couple of little question marks about certain things, but that's me being nitpicky. And if I'm just looking at this as a great horror thriller type film, I think it's just darn near as good as it can possibly be.
Have you addressed many of those nitpicks right now?
No, there's like a couple of things where I just question why people did something, or it just didn't. It probably worked more for the plot than for the character, but it's not like stuff that really brings me out of it too much.
Yeah.
But I think that the management of the paranoia and the character relationships is done really, really well. Like, I feel like each character is very well defined. It's like a mind fuck, this movie, really, because like you don't know what's going on. The characters don't know what's going on. Everything, it's all terror. And then I think it's handled really well, because it seems like if you're writing that, it would be difficult to manage, but it's managed well.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the script is so successful because it's written well, and they also had a rehearsal period for this, and they also had, seasoned actors. Everyone that came to the table in this was able to bring everything out. And, when we talked about Assault on Precinct 13, okay, there might have been some deficiencies in the script. However, the actors weren't as experienced in all cases. But in this, I feel that they bring it up so high that we have very clearly defined characters.
With very limited screen time as well.
Yeah.
So so many characters, so that's so impressive. I think the only nitpicks that I have is the fact that Knowles doesn't really get a death scene. That's probably more of a directing thing. It's left completely ambiguous, and I know they did have one, I think, but test screenings, it didn't go down particularly well, and they were kind of laughing too much with I think there was tentacles coming out of Knowles' body, and there was budgetary constraints with that as well, I think. And also another disappointment is that Donald Pleasance isn't in this. I think this would be perfection if Donald Pleasance was in it. He's such a great actor in his other films.
Yeah, he's excellent.
Screenplay score, Boaz, what should we go for? I'm thinking like a 9.2 or a 3.
Yeah, 9.2.
Yeah, sure. Acting then. There is great dog acting in this film, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Was it Jed the dog?
Yeah, I would actually agree with that. I think the dog needs to get an Oscar or something. How it just stares blankly.
Well, just the one scene where it's walking down the hall and it goes to the right, and then it's like, stops, and then it goes over to the left. I mean, they said all the commentary people always stopped to talk about how great the dog was. Was his name Jed?
I think it was Jed.
Jed the dog.
The dog is great. And I even love, before it transforms, how it's so eerie. Like, it just walks there in the middle, stands in the middle, and then just sits down, and it's just staring at the wall. It's like it doesn't know quite how to dog. It's like a robot. It's just, it's very robotic.
I like to think that the whole carnage starts because the dog has seen his brother and sister lying on a slab, burnt alive. He's like, "You bastards, just staring at my brother's corpse."
Maybe he came in peace. He was a friendly alien. Shooting at him and got his brother's body there. He's like, "You motherfucker."
Yeah, but I kind of liked how in that scene where you see the dead thing on the slab, like the focus in the directing is on the characters' faces as well as the thing itself. There's a great balance there between seeing the fear on these actors' faces as well as the shock and awe of what's on the table. Carpenter does a great job there. I did find the acting really interesting after Childs burns the pissed off cabbage, as it was known on set, or the dog thing. Like, most of the cast looks pretty shocked about what they've just seen, but as the camera pans round to Mac McCready, Kurt Russell, he looks pretty unmoved emotionally. And I think it just adds to this idea that the rest of the characters think that Mac is the thing, you know, maybe kind of a little precursor thing for that narrative in the story. But in fact, I think in that moment, Mac is probably just trying to hide his fear from everyone else.
Yeah, because you get this sense from McCready, like he's trying to be cool all the time. He's not making friends, and he's very blunt, and he's bossy, and he's trying to be like the man. And I think you're right. That does come to bite him in the ass when his sort of unfeelingness is mistaken for,
Well, I also feel like it could be that he's just really drunk. Like, I mean,
yeah, it could be.
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
possibly, yeah.
imagine dealing with this to begin with. It would be totally shocking and horrific. You wouldn't know how to act, but he's also like super shit faced, and like if he's just had all this whiskey and then he comes out and like this is happening, it's just like, what? Like,
yeah, he might be rubbing his eyes like, is this really happening?
Like, I mean, yeah, his reaction time is not, it's like dulled or something. I don't know.
Well, I also think he might have PTSD. I feel that, like, we talked about the beef between McCready and Childs. I mean, you could spin your mind around something that, McCready is a helicopter pilot, maybe made a choice that was well known. And, Childs did not like that choice. So it actually had to do with something, that happened in combat. Because it definitely, I feel like McCready is haunted.
I do feel there is a story behind why they don't like each other. I think definitely there's some unexplored event that happened.
I mean, they never take like a vote or anything to say that, McCready should lead the group.
Yeah, he just takes charge.
They all just kind of gravitate to McCready, I guess because he's the pilot and that's a cool job to have. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they kind of have a little standoff there with him and Childs wants to be in charge. Yeah. And he's like, no, it has to be somebody who's more level-headed or something like that.
Yeah, more even-tempered.
Even-tempered.
Like,
I love the acting from Peter Maloney, who plays Bennings. He's the only actor who gets to act like the Thing, really, when you know he's definitely the Thing. And I just love that lifeless look he has. And I love that slow moment, too. And when he shouts, and it makes it even scarier for me. But I do imagine him shouting, "Hey, that's not fair. I haven't finished the fingers yet."
Don't look.
I'm changing. Yeah, I also thought I do feel like there's like this terror on the face as well that did just make me think that there's still some Bennings in there.
Yeah.
That knows what's going on and is so horrified.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Yeah, like what if when you're getting assimilated, there's still some of you up there? Like that would be pretty fucking...
Oh, that's awful, but it's scary, yeah.
Very lifeless look he has there.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think Wilford Brimley as Blair is really a top shelf acting performance in this too.
Especially when he goes crazy and is smashing up everything.
Yeah.
I love him in that scene.
And that's a great scene. It's like this older guy. Like, I really wasn't expecting that from him.
Yeah.
But also even before that, when they bring in the creature, it's just like, all right, time to dissect this thing, and he cuts it open and just dives in and, wiggling around. He's got like I don't know, it looks like a really gross kidney or something. He's just like, oh, like messing with it.
Yeah, that's horrible, yeah.
But, he's like a man of action, and that continues pretty much throughout until they lock him up and he just starts changing. But, he's like, all right, let's figure out what this is. And then he goes and runs the computer model, figures out what's going on. It's like, well, this obviously is over. He's the first one to really accept that there's not really any fighting back here. There's only stopping it.
They've just got to accept their fate and just contain it, die here.
I mean, we joked a lot about when McCready and co go back to his cabin and he asks, "Can I come out now? I'm fine." But I'm not sure. Like he doesn't really do much different in his performances. He even like maybe tones it down a little bit just to add that creepiness to his performance when he wants to come out. So he's really great in that moment.
Yeah, because I don't feel like the Blair that we've come to know at that point would be like a supplicating kind of person, like, asking somebody to do something for him. This is a guy who's just been, kind of take charge the whole time. And now he's like kind of nearly begging. Yeah. It's not in character, and that really gave it away.
Yeah, the things like, keep it cool.
Yeah.
Ask nicely.
It's just kind of fucked up McCree didn't let him out because, I mean, he felt better. You know what I mean? There wasn't any question.
So
he felt better.
convincing.
Should have let him out.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
But it's great because they think he's going crazy when he's destroying everything.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah, like that's when he's sane, and then actually when he's not him, that's when he's like calmed down. I think it's quite funny.
Favorite performance, John? Who are you going for?
This is a tough one for me. I feel like honestly, uniformly, this is excellent. This is really an ensemble movie.
I think you can pick like loads. I think actually, if you gave this film to a bunch of different people, they might pick a different favorite actor.
I think if I had to pick, I still don't know. I mean, it's just so tough. I mean, I love Keith David. I'm always so happy to see him in a movie in a great role. Palmer, incredible. Donald Moffat is Gary. I mean, yes. I mean, and then Kurt Russell. I guess I'd have to say Kurt Russell, and the reason for that is this is, for my money, the best performance that he's ever given. I think this is the one that, and I love his movies, but I would say this one is definitely the one because we've got, this backstory that we kind of can fill in the blanks. He's playing a person that is damaged, yet still taking, this mantle of leadership. It's very refined. Like he is pissed off and we see him, drinking and freaking out at the computer.
Absolutely.
But generally speaking, he is more level. He doesn't really just fly off the handle and scream at you.
Yeah.
But then again, he does shoot Clark in the face. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know.
Well, that's like self-defense.
It is.
I mean, I think the case can be made.
Yeah, it's like if somebody's coming at you.
Yeah, he had it coming. I kind of agree. I think he's level-headed. It's despite what he's going through, but it doesn't feel like Kurt Russell isn't reacting to that. He's reacting to it, but he's forcing himself to be, in charge, the mature one, the level-headed one.
He's doing Clark a favor by having a quick death.
Quick death, yeah. That he could be eaten slowly and...
Well, I also think it's great when Child says, Clark wasn't it, so you're a murderer. And we don't see a reaction from McCready, but that is a reaction because he has to he's a soldier. He just has to compartmentalize that shit and move on. They have to take care of what's happening or everybody dies.
Yeah, I was going to say, I quite like the scene where, he's got the dynamite, the lit dynamite. Well, he hasn't lit it yet, but he's going to. He's like, and he's shivering. And I like that whole thing of like, back against the wall and trying to keep it together, even though everybody's against him. He's freezing cold and he's got dynamite,
Georgia, favorite performance for you?
I think I will go with Wilford Brimley as Blair.
So good.
Because, I mean, I don't know how other people outside the U.S. think of him, but in the U.S., I think we immediately think of him from like these oatmeal commercials that he did. And also he famously had diabetes and would do like diabetes medication commercials.
Okay.
And he said it diabetes.
Yes.
Is that where that Family Guy thing came from?
Yes. That's
right.
Wilford like Google Wilford Brimley diabetes, like, and that's it. And that's just what we think of him from.
Yeah. Yesterday I hit my wife. Then I realized I haven't been married in 10 years. Who the hell did I hit?
But, you know, I think we think of him as this, or maybe if you're our age, you might think of him in this TV show that he was in. I think that was called Our House, and he was the grandpa.
Just this friendly grandpa.
And he wasn't even that old at the time. So now that I'm like in my 40s, I'm like, oh my God, like this guy's like the same age as me and who's the grandpa. But in this, he's like, he's such a totally different character. Like this isn't like, you know, your nice old grandpa. This is like this really smart biologist at this Antarctic research base who is like ready to torch himself and everyone else to save the world. And it's not only a great performance in itself, but it's also, to me, super unexpected from the diabetes man.
Well, he had like later, he was in that John Grisham, The Firm movie. He is terrifying in that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just me and my associations is with the oatmeal, Quaker
That's
oats.
all I think about too. So we're
sold
together.
Like Quaker oats and
Cocoon.
diabetes supplies.
Cocoon.
Yeah, and also he's been like a geriatric since he was like, I don't know, 30 or something. Like he's like one of these continuously old people. Yeah. So
it reminds me of Back to the Future and Lloyd. Is it Christopher Lloyd?
Oh yeah, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, he's looked old like his entire life. He you know, you just think how long ago Back to the Future was.
That's harsh, man.
No, but I'm serious. In Back to the Future, he's an old crank who's been around since like the 50s, and he was old in the 50s, and he's old in the 20s, and he still looks the same. He's like 80s. You know, yeah, he's like
he does.
He's perpetually 80 years old. You know.
Exactly the same thing with Brimley, but I love him in this. I think he's great.
Boaz, favorite performance?
I think I'm gonna go Keith David, just because I think he plays a really good asshole, just in general, and just how he's constantly getting under McCready's skin and challenging him, and I just like that tension, and I think he just does a great asshole, you know.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody picked him because he's awesome.
I might go for someone a bit different. I'm going to go with Peter Maloney, Bennings. I know he's not in it very much, but I just love that look on his face when he's the only one who gets the opportunity to actually play an alien.
Yeah.
I just love that little scene alone. Yeah. Probably my real answer would probably be the same with you, John. Kurt Russell. I think it probably is his best performance in his career, for sure. So, acting, score, comfort films, what are you going for The Thing?
We're very high here as well, because you got all these people, and they're all doing in top of their career type work. So we gave it a 9.5.
Nice.
Baz, what should we go with?
8.9?
8.9. Not in the 9s? What's wrong with you, man?
How about just a 9?
Yeah, just a straight 9, I think.
Yeah.
Is that harsh, though? I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, what do you want to raise it up then?
9.2. 9.2.
Okay. 9.2.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, there's a lot of characters in this, but I feel like everyone brings their A game. Everyone's very memorable in their own right.
Yeah. Because as I was saying, like, I reckon if you get a load of people to watch this film, many people are going to have a different favorite actor, and I think that just shows you know, like the level of acting, and you know how they're all bringing it. Because usually in a film, in a lot of films that I watch, it's always like top heavy, like focusing on one actor. You go, well, that guy made all the other guys look like children. You know, he was really bringing it, and but you don't really get that in this film. It's like they're all like doing their best, you know, and they're all really good and they're all memorable. So
cool. Right, let's add up the scores then for The Thing.
Oh yeah, Assault on Precinct 13 is going to sweep this. I can feel it. You know,
we knew we were losing when we picked it. But we didn't care.
No.
I could change one of my scores to like, I don't know, 20 on directing. And then...
Not
happening. We didn't come here to compete. We came here to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Thing gets a very impressive 55.9. I think that goes straight to the top of our leaderboard.
Nice.
Beyond Dead Poets Society So it'll be interesting to see if the thing gets toppled this year. It could be difficult. Very difficult. Next episode, as Renfield is out, the new Nicolas Cage film, even though I don't think he's in it that much, but new Dracula film with Nicholas Hoult. That's the actor I was looking for. And we'll be talking horror comedies, so that'll be a lot of fun. And hopefully we'll have guests, another returning podcast from George and Alex. Hopefully Alex will join us from the Culture Bucket podcast. So yeah, it's been a great ride, guys. This is your opportunity again to tell us about your podcast and where can we find you?
Yeah, we are Comfort Films Podcast. We talk about comforting films to us. If you just really want to hear even more John Carpenter discussions, you can go into our back catalog and listen to episodes 49 to 52, where we discussed 6 films over 4 episodes. We are on Apple, Spotify. You can also go directly to our website, comfortfilmspodcast.com, and check us out on our socials. We have a very active Instagram page where John does a lot of fabulous content around what movies we're doing for the week, quizzes and trivia, and he makes a lot of hilarious little films around clips from our shows. So be sure to check us out, and we always say stay comfy.
Yeah, those quizzes are not easy. They're not easy.
He's getting tougher. He's gotten a lot tougher. You kind of have to listen to the episode to know the answer sometimes. That's the trick.
We also have on there a bunch of pictures from the John Carpenter locations too. So if you look back, you can see things from Prince of Darkness, Halloween, The Fog.
Awesome.
Yeah, I saw those.
Yes, because we went to those when we were doing those episodes, and it was really a lot of fun. So check us out.
Yeah, guys, we've come to the end. It's time to say goodbye. It's goodbye from John.
Say goodbye, John.
Oh, John didn't get it. I was like, okay. It was good seeing you guys. We had a good time, Martin and Boaz. I was just like, are we doing like some fucking character acting? I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I don't get it. All right. But yeah, no, it was a very good time, guys. A very good time as always.
Yeah, I thought the thing had you for a sec. It's like, what should we say? I don't understand how humans say goodbye.
Oh, shit.
Okay, let's try it again.
Yeah.
It's goodbye from Georgia.
Goodbye, and as we say, stay comfy.
Stay comfy.
Yeah. And it's goodbye from the Mr. Encyclopedia Man. Please do test yourself again. Do the blood test again. It just ease my anxiety for next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, sayonara, guys.
Yeah, and it's goodbye from me. I am going to eat lots of food because I'm hungry. Bye-bye.
We are too.
Yeah.
Yes. No humans, all right?
No. Humans definitely off the menu.
Definitely, man.
Or is it? That's it for part 2. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. Check out part 1 if you haven't done so already. But don't stop there. Get involved and tell us what your favourite films are relating to the episodes. Send us a DM or comment on Instagram and TikTok at Film vs. Film Podcast, for Twitter at FVF_podcast. If you do, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. If you're feeling really generous, you can buy us a one-off coffee at our Buy Me a Coffee account. Remember, please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe. Pod signing off.